Hi everyone, this is what happened to me when I got government housing part 46. Now we're up to another major incident. Not that having docs bash on your door and yell at you isn't a major incident, but I mean the next major incident that I suffered from the respondent. As you know, he had first assaulted me back in 2015 and nothing was done about it. And the incident that I'm up to today occurred on the 7th of the 1st, 2017. So I had been living in fear for some time. And so many other things had happened as well, like my friend dying, and my washing machine and dryer being damaged, and the respondent driving a vehicle into me and verbally assaulting me and dumping buckets of water on me, and so on. All of these things and a whole lot of other things had happened before this incident. And when you see what happened to me, I'm sure it will make you as sick as it made me. So on the 7th of the 1st, 2017, it was a fairly hot day. I don't remember what the temperature was, but I believe it was over 30 degrees. I stayed at home for so long as we couldn't afford to go out, and I really needed to get out of the unit just to clear my head. So I decided to take my daughter into the city for a walk. But before I did that, I washed my bra by hand, probably in the sink or something, and then I hung it outside on the washing line. I don't remember why I put it on the line, but it was probably because I was so sick and tired of not being able to use my own backyard. And I intended to be away just for a couple of hours. I don't remember what time we left, but I believe it was in the afternoon, after 2 p.m. or around that time. We travelled to the city by train, and the time we left can be verified by the many CCTV cameras which are at train stations. We went to the food court at Melbourne Central, and once again, this can be verified by the cameras that they have in that building. And I bought us a boxed meal, which was on special. And this is another reason why I was saying it was in the afternoon, because the takeaway places mark down their food when it's close to closing time. But that was all I could afford to do. I was living on a pension, raising my daughter, and I had no money or opportunity to go out other than walks in the park. My life was reduced to this sort of activity for entertainment because I had spent around 2 years defending myself from the respondent in court, and as no lawyer would agree to represent me, I had to pay for printing and all the other administrative costs on my own. So getting back to my story, we picked up 1 or 2 boxed meals from the food court at Melbourne Central, and then we headed down to the Yarra River with the intention of sitting down and eating our meal. This wasn't what I wanted to do. If I had the choice, I would pack a picnic with cheese and fruit and salami, and we would eat that beside the Yarra. But I didn't have any money to buy all that food, and I didn't have a picnic basket. And I couldn't plan outings like that because I may have had to stay inside if the respondent assaulted me or dumped a bucket of water on me or threw rocks at my window. I did what I could, and I tried to make it as nice as I could for my daughter and I. So we headed down to the Yarra. We would normally walk down this stretch of path that is shown here and then walk around to the other side and sit on the grass to eat. Looking back, it was a long way to walk just to sit down and eat a box of takeaway, but at the time I thought it was a big deal, and it was the nicest thing that I could do to spend my afternoon in the circumstances that I was in. We started walking around the Yarra, And the funny thing was that I thought I was being followed. There was a tall blonde man and a young boy following us, and I tried to get away from him. And I walked and I walked and I walked, but they wouldn't leave us alone until finally I just couldn't walk anymore. And the man and his son sat down right near us. At that point, the young boy asked the man why he was following us, and I don't remember what he replied, but that question confirmed to me that that man was, in fact, following us. I didn't know that man, but in some ways he looked familiar, and he reminded me of a police officer. I know there are CCTV cameras along the Yarra, and even though it's been a few years, I believe that there may be a way of getting the footage of me on that day and verifying what I'm saying. I don't want to know who that man was, but I think that the people who are interested in my story should have the right to see that footage and to identify that man for reasons that I will explain later. So I travelled all the way to Sydney to get away from the respondent and, just to have some peace and quiet. And I had this man following me, and his behaviour was so strange. Even the young boy asked him why he was following us, and I had to sit on the grass, half hunched up in fear, not wanting to turn around to see this man. And I ate my cheap meal in a free park because I couldn't afford anything else, and all I wanted was to get away. We returned home at about 6:20 p.m. and I went straight outside to collect my bra from the washing line, and this is what I saw. I returned home at around 6:20 this evening after being out today with my daughter, and found this had happened to a bra that I had left hanging on the washing line. I didn't put my washing on the line because of the buckets of water that had been thrown on me, but because I hand washed my bra, I put this one out into the warm weather, and I'll now make a video of what I saw when I got home. As you can see, there's some black dye. The bra has been ruined. That was my bra. It's got some sort of dye or paint on it. This is a similar pattern to the water that was thrown, and has obviously been thrown by the respondent from his window. That's the full shot of what's been thrown. The splatter on the ground. Just looking around for anything else that's been damaged. But as you can see, it's a similar story to when the water was thrown. So now my bra is completely damaged by what looks like ink. And I'll now remove the bra and see if I can make it inside safely. And as you can see, the respondent has also been leaving further work, paint and other objects on the public balcony. So obviously that was a huge shock for me, and as someone who had already suffered a lot of violence and had suffered a breakdown, it was horrible and it was creepy. The visual impact of the black paint was really strong, and I don't know why anyone would do something like that. Sometimes I wonder if I didn't put my bra out, this may not have happened, but the truth is that the respondent or whoever did that could have thrown black paint over me at any time for all I knew. I had no idea why I was being targeted, but I did know that the police would not help me, so I didn't ring 000. I noticed that the splatter pattern of the black paint was similar to the splatter pattern that was made when the respondent dumped a bucket of water on me. And I believe that this proves that both liquids were thrown from the same place and by the same person. I believe that the black paint and the bucket of water were thrown from the respondent's window, which overlooked my backyard. I knew I couldn't call the police, but I wished that I had a lawyer to speak to. I thought that if I had a lawyer, I could ring them and tell them what happened and they would know what to do, but I had no one to speak to. That bra had cost me a lot of money and I couldn't afford to replace it. I believe I only had one bra at the time and a bikini top, and I had to resort to wearing my bikini top now as that bra was damaged. It took me a long time before I could afford to buy another bra, and it was another expense on top of all the others that I was burdened with paying on my own out of my pension money. And given that I wasn't awarded compensation for all of the things that happened to me, it was just one more thing that pushed me further into extreme poverty and debt and stopped me from being able to take my daughter on holiday so we could forget about all of the hardship that we had endured and all of the horrible things that we had seen.